the News Channel 5 network, this is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine on Tuesday night. I am Ben Hall. Very good show tonight. We are talking about veterans and veterans affairs. What sort of benefits are available to veterans right here in Middle Tennessee? There's certainly a nonprofit organization that is helping veterans. And so we want to let you know what is available, what is out there. We also want to talk about what has been in the news. There's been a lot in the news about the VA hospital. Let's talk a little bit about that. If you have concerns, questions, certainly there's going to be testimony later this week from the Veterans Affairs Secretary, the VA Secretary of Veterans Affairs. That's very interesting, and all that's going on with the VA hospital. So plenty to discuss. Very happy to have with us two people from Operation Stand Down, J.C. Smith. Thank you for being with us once again.
Thanks for inviting me.
And Mary Ross, Operation Stand Down Deputy Executive Director. Thank you for being with us. You've been on before. It was a very good show. And I want to start with, we'll start with what Operation Stand Down is, but also I want to get quickly to something great that happened as a result of your last appearance, when a veteran called in and how he was helped. But first of all, tell us a little bit about Operation Stand Down.
I'll do the operation, you do the veteran.
I got it.
Dividing the work. That's good.
Operation Stand Down started back in 1993 from an idea that came out of San Diego, actually. And it was a stand-down event. It was a homeless veterans respite. Back in 1999, the community got together along with the board of the stand-down events. A few very special people like Bill Burley and Nancy Moore and Randy Amons, and they put together an idea to have a full-service agency. And since 1999, we have been rocking and rolling. We had a little bitty spot on the corner of 12th Avenue and Edge Hill in a high-rise building over there. It's about a 10 by 10 space, a closet. And we've now moved across the street. We've been there about 5 years now, in the old grocery store that used to be there. So we now have a foothold in the community, and we really are a part of that community.
Is it basically a one-stop shop for all kinds of things, how to get benefits, how to find a way to get back on your feet in some cases for veterans?
It truly is. It truly is. We've always prided ourselves in veterans helping veterans. We know what veterans need. We know how to connect with them. And so we tried to fill those gaps that were left by the government, the community. There are so many issues that we face that most people wouldn't understand unless they'd been in battle or at least been in the military.
And there's so many new veterans, right?
There are so many new veterans, and there's actually going to be more that need. And part of what we're doing is actually helping them with the transition from being in military into being back in the community. And it's kind of a tough transition for veterans to make.
And when you were on last time, we had a call. Someone called in, 93-year-old World War II veteran, and said that he hadn't received medals, that he hadn't gotten a medal that he should have received. And then you all took up his number. What happened with this caller?
Oh yeah, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Henry R. Shaw, actually called in on the last show, and he had not been awarded his medals from World War II that he had earned. And so we got the information after the contact information. We contacted him. He came into our service center, and everybody just fell in love with Mr. Shaw. Of course, he's such a character. And I sat down and I interviewed him. I got his story, and it was really fascinating because Mr. Shaw was a World War II veteran, African American, and during that time period, the units were segregated. African Americans did not serve with Caucasians. So as a result of this, there was not a whole lot of history about the black units during World War II, but we did manage to dig up some of it. But when Mr. Shaw was ready to actually get out of the service, because he was African American, he was not awarded his medals. So we ordered the medals. We had his DD-214. We ordered what he was awarded, and then we arranged with the Tennessee National Guard here over on Sitco Drive, and we had a big ceremony. His family came in, and he was awarded his medals officially by General Hastings, the Tennessee.
All as a
National Guard
result.
Commander.
Yeah, thank you.
All as a result of him calling in.
Right, right.
Well, that's great.
And he actually came back and he attended our program that we always have every year for Black History Month. He was one of our guest members, and he comes in periodically now and just kind of hangs out with us, and we've just adopted him. He's
That's
ours.
great. And so what you do again is help veterans in all kinds of different ways. What are you seeing the greatest need is out there right now?
Housing, affordable housing, and livable wages.
In other words, jobs.
Yeah.
Jobs. There are lots of jobs out there, and you can find work, but finding work that's going to pay a livable wage and be able to afford to pay for your rent, to pay for your transportation, to pay for your food, to pay for all of these things, that's a challenge. And sometimes our veterans come back with challenges of their own, barriers, that makes it even harder for them to get employment.
And JC, do you agree?
Oh yeah, we still aren't out of the employer's market. You know, a few years ago it got so bad, the economy, and people were being laid off, and we've never really recovered from that, especially in the veterans community, because it's kind of out of proportion. Veterans tend to have a little bit higher rate of unemployment than the regular community, along with some other things. But to talk about employment, we've never really gotten it completely back on track, and you know, that's a sad thing. It's great for the businesses because there's a lot of competition for every job out there.
Is it worse for veterans than for just, say, anybody else, for new college graduates, that kind of thing? Are veterans facing increased burdens? I guess I would assume they probably are, having come back from serving.
Part of the burden that the veteran faces is that when they do leave the military, and I'm specifically now talking about some of the younger veterans that are just now getting out, is translating that military skill into a civilian skill, a marketable skill, and putting that language into their resume so that the employer really knows what kind of talents they have, what kind of skills they have. And veterans come with a lot of intangible skills. They come with that whole timeliness thing. You're not going to be late for formation, so they're going to be to work on time. They're going to be to work every day. They're very mission oriented. They don't require a whole lot of supervision, so they really do come with a lot of skills that are marketable. But translating, how do you take an infantryman who was just an outstanding infantryman, and how do you translate that into a civilian occupation?
It seems like it's sold, though. You see, join the Army, learn, get a degree, learn a skill. Mm-hmm. It's sold that you will have marketable skills when you come out.
Well, you do. I've been wanting to use this word for a long time. Part of the conundrum that we are running into.
Very good.
You like that? It's not so much that the veterans don't understand their skill level.
Mm-hmm. It's the employer.
It's the employer. When you're a tank commander or you're a supply sergeant, or you could be in charge and managing millions of dollars worth of equipment. You could be driving a vehicle that's worth $1 million, commanding troops who are operating this something that's highly sophisticated, electronics and armor and weaponry, and then you get back to the States and they're saying, well, we might be able to get you into a warehouse job, and you'll make $8.25 an hour. You're not making minimum wage because we want veterans. We want to hire veterans. It's quite a spectacle to deal with.
So if the big job, and I'll take a call here, if the big concern is wages and housing, what can be done about that? If someone says, my big problem is those two areas, wages and housing, how do you help them?
Well, there are a number of things that we can do. Number one, we do work with their employment skills and their resume, and we also work with the employers so that the employers know what it is that the veterans are going to offer them.
Yes.
And at the same time, we're when a veteran comes into our service center, we're not just looking at, okay, he's unemployed. That's not the main issue. We're looking at the whole person. Why is this veteran unemployed? What kind of skills does he bring to the table? What kind of training does he or she have? And okay, so what about his housing status? What about all the basic needs, that food, shelter, that safety thing that has to be considered first? And okay, are there other issues? Are they receiving medical care at the VA? Do they have the other basic needs that need to be considered? So sometimes we may need to work on other things before we actually get to work on the employment part.
Right.
And we're reaching out. This program itself is helping to educate the community. And that's where our biggest obstacles are, is getting the community up to speed with what we're faced with and what veterans do bring to the table.
Good. Okay, let's go to Cindy on line 1. Hello, Cindy. Cindy, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Ben. I'm sorry.
Hi. Yeah, what's on your mind?
Oh, thank you. I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Okay, my father, he is 84. Okay? And
All
I
right.
love my father very much. And I take very good care of him. Now, my father always took care of his second wife, that's not my mother, and he fought in the Korean War. Now, I've got heritage from the Confederates. I've also got them from the World War I, II, because in those days they were drafted. And, but what I don't understand, about 15 years ago, he lost all his benefits because his wife got an inheritance. Why would she do that to a veteran?
So your question is, why did he lose his benefits as a result of getting an inheritance? Is that right?
Oh, no, he did not. His wife did. And of course, she didn't give him a dime, so he lost off his Social Security. And somehow she got a portion of that, still married to her, and gosh, they've been married for 35 years now.
Yeah, Cindy, are you talking about his Social Security benefits, or are you talking about VA benefits?
The VA. They will not let him have benefits. They cut him off when he told them. And what they told him was because she got benefits.
And I'm assuming here, this is just an assumption, is that you're talking about the category of care, because veterans are rated on the VA medical side as to how much money or how much your income is.
Yeah.
And if you make a certain level of income, then there is charges from the VA medical center. But what I would like to suggest is that you either come into our office and talk to one of our benefits counselors, or you go to the regional office and talk to one of theirs, because I think there's misunderstanding that can probably be easily rectified.
That's good. Okay, so Cindy, you should call in and give them more detailed information, or go by the office and you take people as they come in. Okay, we're going to take a break. If you want to call, there's a number, 737-PLUS, 737-7587. We will take a break and be back with more calls right after this.